Okay, we'll open up the October 7th Sewer Commissioners meeting. Elaine, I.
Bill Watson, aye.
Brian Donahoe.
It doesn't appear that we have anybody online, so we can start with first appointment for Cleveland on Cushman Farms. Should like to update us and
Sure. So thanks for meeting with me. We just submitted the revised civil site plan yesterday, or actually, I think they may have just uploaded it today. Because we've changed the site pretty significantly, where I'm not running all the way through the site down to Cushman. We're actually jumping out on Copper Beach, so we save a lot of wetlands. There were a whole bunch of reasons for doing it. But the unit count stays the same, so that hasn't changed.
What's that again? The number of
The
units?
unit count,
Yeah, what is the number now?
it's 144. I think the original approval from Mass Housing was like 160 something, but I eliminated a third building, which I thought was problematic. It was close to Copper Beach. It was a nice way to create more buffer. So, and I ended up with 2 4-story buildings instead of 3 3-story buildings. So, but I was able to keep about, must be 150 feet of woods that I can just leave, and just keep it towards the railroad tracks. So the gallonage I have here, and I actually, these are identical to what was uploaded, but they're just for your use only.
okay.
11 by 17. Basically. Take a quick peek. And on page 16 and 17, probably what you guys are interested in. And you can see on 16, we're tying into a force main down there on Marion. And on 17, you can see the proposed pump station. Off the building there. And in this set of plans, it's all.
That's Marion right there.
Yeah, to be determined. I typically would hire we used to use on-site, but I think they just got bought out by Fuss and O'Neill. But they'll design the pump station, work with few folks as to pipe size and everything else. So, but you can see on 16 where I'm exiting right out to Copper Beach there.
So this is Copper Beach right here, right? I don't see it labeled, that's all. This is Copper
It
Beach.
is, that's Copper
Yeah,
Beach.
and this is Marion?
Correct.
Okay,
These are the dwellings.
yeah, that's what I thought. I just make sure I was in the right place here.
And I did, pardon the, and funds. That's more just the, so that's the unit count, bedroom layout. Gallonage at 110. Actually, the last 2, we ended up needing some statistics for DEP on another project I've got. So everybody was interested in what were your actual versus design flows. We ended up in the 40s on both of them because fixtures have changed and, you do a better job on water. So I ended up just using 55% for a percentage on the actual. So it looks like it's, say 15,000 gallons a day is probably what it's going to be on an average, not peak, but an average daily flow.
So most of these are 2 bedrooms. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, there's a few 3 bedrooms, but not many.
Well, so 40Bs, it's 10% on the
Yeah.
3s. And then the 2s we've got at 32. So maybe a third.
Oh, okay, I'm reading this wrong then. All right.
Yeah, the architect set this up, so I'll.
On page 16, there's a good representation. down in this.
Oh, they have a,
Sewage
oh, you're
flow
right.
Table,
Down here, oh, down here, yeah, okay.
yeah, the sewage flow table.
Need a magnifying glass for me. So these have just been presented back to the ZBA, is that the way it is?
Well, yes, yep. What happened is, even the entrance off of Marion, the short story is that there's that paper road that goes through the site. And we had a few retaining walls in there, which apparently is a no-no, even though the lots up top there, nobody can ever build on them, but we had to pull everything out of the paper road. No obstructions. You can pave in there if it's down in grade, but you can't block if somebody wanted to build on the unit and go to, so that necessitated the change. Which honestly ended up being better because now all of the traffic, it sweeps down to the railroad side and is buffered by the building.
Okay,
So it's even further away from Copper Beach. So it took us a lot of time to re-engineer everything, but I think it's a better approach.
That can be a one-way street.
Going out to Copper Beach.
You
Yeah.
can't come down. No, obviously, if it's one way going out, someone comes off of this parking lot, they can't go down here to come over and beat traffic.
Well, I'm gonna have gates at both sides,
Okay,
so,
tenants will have to have a key, pass key.
correct, yeah, some kind of setup.
Okay,
I mean,
Push
the
button.
neighbors don't trust the gates, but, they just don't want the development, but
Right,
yeah,
right.
it's gonna be private gates at both sides,
Okay.
so. Cause that's the big, I get it, that's the big fear in town is,
well, that's why Copper Beach is closed. It's unto itself and
right.
So that, but
you don't want that traffic going through your development.
No, no, I want it private.
Yeah.
I keep trying to tell everybody, I don't want it there either.
so the main entrance and egress is gonna be here,
That's the two-way.
yeah, and then this is just one way out.
Right, I was gonna do two-way, and then I got talked into, all of a sudden somebody said, why don't you just do a one-way? I'm like, yeah, I can live with that.
Where's the two ways goes to Copper Beach or Marion
No,
Drive?
yeah.
Marion Drive.
Which is
Copper
good.
Beach is exit
What?
only.
Excellent.
In the so you're gonna get more, a little morning traffic if people are going to work, but if you read the traffic report, I think they estimate 65% of the traffic is south, towards the
Goes to
train.
But no one's wanna go this way anyways, cause you got a light up there that's a pain in the neck now. I mean,
Right.
it has nothing to do with Copper Beach, it has nothing to do, it has to do with the set of lights and the whole intersection should be fixed. That's not your problem, and that's our problem, actually. If they coordinated the lights, that would be a whole different situation, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
when school lets out
yeah, I mean, it's
or
just,
is loading up for the day, it's
Yeah.
very busy on that street. But it'll be all gated.
All gated.
When we're getting here, if you're coming off that parking lot, is that, code or push button to get in.
Right, yeah, a fob or something like that. So there's a company out of North Attleboro that does that.
so based on this scenario, the Title V flow is, you're calculating it's 14,278, that's the Title V,
No, the Title V is the 25,960.
25,000, okay.
Yes, 26,000.
Thanks, I thought, because the last time we talked was bigger numbers.
yeah.
Right. All right, so that's the one we're gonna think about.
So what approvals are you waiting for?
ZBA.
CBA?
Water. I have a meeting with them next week, but
Okay,
I don't know what's going on. I'm told it's okay now, but I've not gathered it from them.
Okay.
So,
So the moratorium is off, it's done,
that's what I heard, yeah.
and we can tell you, because we've had, what, 9, not including this, 9 applications for sewer connections in the last month.
Wow, that doesn't surprise me. I'm sure it's been clamped down for a while, so.
And that
Yeah.
doesn't include the big ones that are coming down the pike, like this and maybe others. We got the mall.
Oh, is there, yeah, I think I heard, is there, yeah, they're thinking about another one?
So.
Yeah, that's supposedly that, and then maybe a big warehouse retail store
Oh, at the mall?
at the mall. Macy's spot, but
That wouldn't be a bad thing.
apparently
I
they're
think. Yeah,
competing with Plymouth, so I don't know where that stands.
actually, I just read where Plymouth, wasn't it down behind Cordage Park or something? I think it's Pulte, doing like 90 units or something. They just filed something.
Yeah, they're having a the paper said that the paper, on the line paper says they're having trouble. They have like 5 parcels and
Right.
they're trying to combine. Using 2 vacant parcels and combine stuff here and, I don't know.
That's a big outfit. They'll figure it out. Yep. Yeah, it's active down here. We just built in Plymouth. I mentioned that to you guys. We moved to Plymouth, so. A great spot.
So a concern I have, or a question, if this project does go forward, how do we as a commission and department address the pump station issue on this? How does that play out? I haven't really come across a situation like this other than what we did at Marion Drive for the mall. Would this pump station be something that these guys are maintaining, or is it something we as a department, we maintain?
Any new residential hookups, they're responsible for the pumping. The pump chambers and pumps.
I just want to see
Yeah,
how the
you know.
commission feels on that, just before we get too far ahead of ourselves on this, so everyone's clear.
I think my position would be, number one is that the pump station is designed with your oversight and approval. So that it's compatible with what we're dealing with. If and when we do make a decision, if we do, to take it over. And that's gonna come up on another discussion later on from our meeting. With
This, the way it's planned out now would tie into the Marion Drive force main
Right.
that picks up the Jones River pump station and the Marion Drive pump station. So there's a 10-inch force main that you'd be pumping into. I think right now we'd have to get CDM involved with.
check
make
valves
sure-
and all that, yeah.
Yeah, flow wise and everything else that, the plant can take. If all 3 stations kicked on at the same time, would it overflow our headworks?
Yeah.
Right now, it gets up there, but their flow, when they did headworks, they actually elevated our channels so that as things surcharged, it wouldn't overflow. It worked out great. But this additional flow, we'd have to definitely consider how it affects us and if there's any modifications that we'd have to make so we don't get an overflow at headworks.
Can you just explain this to me again? So if it went into Marion Drive, it would go down to the Jones River pump station? No,
No, it would, so Jones River Pump Station's force main pumps.
oh, that's, okay, it's the other way, all right, I get it.
That has its own check valve
Yep.
on it. And let's say this tied into it or existing the Marion Drive pump station, once that kicks on, that's pumping into that force
Yeah,
main.
okay, I get it.
So now you've got the flow from Jones River coming on the mall. If that pump kicks on at the same time, and let's say this capacity kicks on at the same time, now you've got all that volume coming in. And one, you have to overcome the pressure, which I want to say it's around 30 PSI, but we can have CDM look at flow calcs on it. But if there's a modification, we have to do on our end. And then just ownership of the pump station, how that plays out. We have to, at least consider that and how we operate on that end.
And we can't, they can't come up and go underneath the T and gravity feed down from Marion Road Station, pump station.
There isn't, right now, there's not a gravity line. I'm not sure.
No, there's not a
what
gravity, the gravity line doesn't go up to the T
line.
line.
It stops at
It
Marion,
stops
at Royson.
pretty much, yeah, at the storage facility place.
And I'm not sure where we lay out here in relation to the.
But I think
railroad
you'd have to get permission from the T to jack underneath the.
tracks. Right.
Unless there's a sleeve there already.
You'd be
A lot of
on
times they put
the-
sleeves in,
That's
that
the
reason.
doggy daycare.
you know, they're-
Okay.
I know the water department might have one. I don't think we never did one.
No, not that I remember.
Yeah.
I know there was talk of it and then it got very complicated and it would have delayed a lot of things, so.
What was that, a talk of what?
Sleeve underneath railroad tracks.
To bring this gravity line up farther.
You know, it's interesting. I don't think it shows probably. on
But anyway, it's just
these
a thought. I
plans.
mean, it'd be less of a pump station because now you're just pumping up to let it gravity flow all the way down to the Marion
Right,
Drive.
right.
So,
Hey, you're up high enough.
Oh, yeah.
And the funny thing is recently I was looking at something for the plans over there. And I wanna say there's a 4-inch sleeve that comes under the railroad tracks.
Really?
And I don't know if that was something that.
This one, I see, I distinctly remember putting these
Okay.
things in.
It
that
may-
vision.
It may exist, so that could give us.
I'm going back
maybe-
25 years now. I remember doing it.
there was supposed to be one underneath on 3A down in the center of town here. They never put it in. And that's why they had to go in between the two buildings to circumvent.
Yeah,
Just, but yeah, I mean, if there was some way to get it up and gravity feed down to that, it's already set up.
at least get it.
It's just gonna be
Marion
reflected,
Drive,
it's gonna be
no
reflected,
gravity
there's no
feed,
high pressure there.
there'd be a pump station.
One other than go back up to our station, that's already in place, but I don't know, just a thought.
It sounds like there's options.
Yeah, the other,
For hooking in, yeah.
I actually, so Conoco does work with MBTA.
Mm-hmm.
They're tough to deal with sometimes,
Yeah.
but to try and find, maybe they have an as-built. They're famous for not having
Anything.
as-built.
Yeah.
But, to try and do a little research to see if it's not there, can we bore underneath, it might be better than a pump station.
Yeah.
Less mechanical.
Right.
Well, that's
Right,
it, yeah,
so-
that was my
Yeah.
thought.
Right.
and they will let you do that with the right, they do it all the time.
I mean,
So,
we'd have to
They
do
would
it
allow it, is that what you're
Yeah.
saying, with the right?
sidewalk
Yeah.
for them to
Just
do
something to look at as
Yeah.
we go forward. There's less pump stations,
It-
less
it-
headaches.
Oh,
Whether
absolutely.
you own
Laying
it
that
or
out.
in the future.
We
we
extend it all
own
the way up to gravity feed.
Yeah.
We're already strapped.
We don't
Deal
need
with pumps.
Nobody's asking for
Problem.
Yeah.
it all.
Everybody's trying to upgrade pump
Adding
stations.
something else.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be the better way to go, definitely, and like I said, it's a sleeve. That's all it is, it's only 30 feet, 50 feet, maybe, I don't know. There's only, there's 2 tracks, there's this one, right?
I think just one track.
Just one, I think.
So,
And Marion Drive is heading,
Oh, yeah, there's plenty from
Downhill,
that, from there,
right,
that's
so-
plenty of flow, I mean, plenty of gravity from there.
I would
Yeah.
think the elevation worked
Yeah.
out.
and it would also connect other property that should be sewered to the sewer. It's now
You know,
industrial.
we had talked about it when they were putting in the pump station, but then we didn't decide it. As you're saying, Elaine, no one really wanted it, no one up above was asking for it.
Yeah.
Any of those buildings. But theoretically, if it goes by them, they will probably jump in at some point in time. Depending upon, the build up there.
Ian, how far down would it be? Would it be in the right of way? I'm assuming, or is it
I would-
outside the asphalt
Well,
or?
it's been a while since I've looked at stuff out there, but I would imagine it travels in the right of way of the road.
Right,
I wouldn't see it going outside.
okay, so maybe that's not too terrible.
Just a possibility.
That part of the road's pretty old anyways, as far as,
Yeah.
So we didn't just pave that, right? Not yet.
I don't think
Curb to
so.
curb.
Yeah, because then
I'm
it's
not
like,
sure how
what,
far.
5 years or something before they let you on the road.
this is up in the T
Well,
station.
we own the road, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Town of Kingston, we took it over. They gave it to
Oh.
us.
Yeah.
Okay. Accepted,
Yes,
okay,
yes. We made an arrangement with the.
Just the road
EPA,
fund.
all right,
Not the tracks.
so it's just this conduit then, see
Yeah,
if it's not there, see if MBTA would be amenable to that. Yeah.
Whatever's.
What size line do you think, or conduit, like,
Unfortunately, from memory, it's 4-inch, but I could be wrong.
but would that's not enough, right? Would you want 6-inch or
For gravity, for that kind of volume, you probably want
8?
6 or 8, probably 8, more than
Okay.
likely.
Okay,
But again, if it's gravity flow, it might be something, or if we use that as
Yeah, just to take a look at it.
if they pumped it and then went gravity to Marion Drive, it might save a pump station.
The only other thought is on our sewer system left to be done, Copper Beach is on the list. So I don't know if the timing works, but this is meant to be sewered. Coming up, and we're in the process of looking at design.
So what you're saying is that they should come down here and run down the road
Yeah.
and gravity feed
The,
down.
the alternative would be that this is gonna be sewer gravity down the bottom, and that pump station at the elementary school had to be beefed up anyways. So we fixed this, the elementary school,
If the flow went the opposite direction.
yeah, because you're taking everything down to there and then you're pumping it back
It's
up.
up to your engineers to figure it out. We'll let you have the flow. You just,
Well, what's the preference? Do you
just gotta hook up.
Although the timing.
Yeah.
I mean, how far away do you think you are from Copper Beach?
Well, we're talking about that on the agenda later on. I have. If everything goes the way Ryan wants it to go, we'll be digging this thing in the ground in
Has anyone up
15
there,
months.
has anyone up there shown interest in wanting it? I know those houses about the age, 20, 30 years old.
The only reason it wasn't sewered before, everything sewered around it, except for that, because they were relatively new.
They're brand new yet.
But they're
Probably
surrounded by wetlands, as you probably
25
know.
years ago.
Right.
And that they're right on the, that's why they're next. If you look at the plan, everything's sewered except that street. So we sewer the school.
Would the pump station have to be upgraded if the apartment flows came this way?
I think it'd be a combination of the water that flow here, there's what, 20 houses or something? And then we have a small pump station for the elementary school, which is, from what Dave said, kind of too small. So it was gonna have to be fixed anyways. And so, I mean, it's another engineering decision, but knowing this and putting all this together, figure that out. It may not be timing wise for you, but at least,
I mean, I'll bet it's 3 years out from, or maybe 2.5 years from, letting somebody live there. I mean, it takes time, maybe with one building and then second
Yeah.
building might be 3 years.
Yeah,
Something
sooner the
like that.
better for us.
Right,
What I
so,
can do is try and dig a little more
Yeah.
deeper into that railroad crossing down there. And I'll share that information and
that'd be the easiest, I think.
Yeah.
something else, just like Brian said, if we're doing something on Copper Beach Drive and we have a pump station already that's underserved, it handles school, but if we were doing something to accept your flow, let's say Copper Beach Drive, it makes sense to
Yeah, this is it's an easier thing.
work on that existing station.
Yeah.
And make that work for everyone. But, we can let you get through some of your other hurdles, but at least it's good to see, what you've got. In theory, at this point, how we would be able to help you with the wastewater side of it.
So other than water, I don't think I think they're gonna review the traffic study, but there's really nothing with the traffic study either, so. It's really up to the ZBA,
Okay, when do you meet with them again?
I think we're gonna push it because, we just uploaded the civil and, Pat doesn't have enough time, so I don't know. But I would say it's whenever they can meet next, maybe 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay. Now, do you need a vote from us, and something from us?
I know it's probably just like an availability, something like that.
There's X amount of flow available for them.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll bank it for right now.
I mean, we should probably talk about the connection fee.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it's just a soft letter,
Okay,
because I'm not bringing any gas to the site, it's all electric. I have the will serve on the electric, sewer, water, that's it. Yeah,
All the other stuff drainage.
So I think what we need to do is.
Get that all figured out.
that's on that civil plan that just went in, yeah, and that's a good site for stormwater, because it's, Kingston's good soil.
So I think what we need to do is at least take this under advisement, talk
Right.
about it, and when you look at the plans, just kind of think about it and have a discussion. But I think our position, it's definitely something we would want to do.
Yeah, we have the flow.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we'd like to sell it off.
I think I was short one, so I don't need one, but no, you keep going.
so we'll get you a statement saying that there's available sewer capacity for the project as presented.
All right, Be great.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping something will happen before the end of the year, probably with ZBA. I don't think we need much more time than that.
So I guess we can look at this later. The number-
Yeah, because there's some good grading and drainage, probably on 60 side, I mean, something like that, to get a better look at the topo.
What do these purple mean?
That's the land that I control.
Okay,
I don't know what was intended there a long time ago, because you could say they had all these little tiny lots.
yeah,
They
these
had
are,
deed problems and tax titles and people and one person's in Russia. I mean, they're not buildable lots. I don't know if it was a campground a long time ago or,
Back in the early 1900s, where I live up off of Smith's Lane, there was all these tiny 25-foot by 100-foot lots. 2,500 square feet.
typically they
Tons
put
of-
25.
Tons of, and they started adding them together as the time went,
Right.
all paper streets, all set up, all Benham Park. The whole
That
area.
was very typical everywhere in Massachusetts particularly. And they, in the, what became a legal minimum was, I think, 50 by 100. I know in Braintree, where I grew.
Yep, 5,000
They're all,
square
yeah,
foot.
25 was not big enough, so 50. And they're everywhere. And but what's interesting, these are 40, so they may have, some of these were, it's again, not being a from a land surveyor, a lot of these were actually longer. They were like 1,000 feet long and 20 feet wide, but with these 40-foot ones, they were all woodlots. So you go in with your sled and you cut down wood you cut down stuff in the summer or fall. Then you go in your sled and you'd slide it out. You have a 25-foot right of way, and then you leave the other 25 to grow and get bigger. And that's how, and they were 1,000 feet long, or 800 feet long. So that's another way these could have come up, and then they got cut up by, like you said, for cottages or something else.
see, I'd love to get that one in the middle, because the town owns that. I think it was an old tax title town, just got it, but there's no access to it. You can't get to Marion Drive because Thomas Street stops. And you can't get to Marion Drive because you'd be going right through the wetlands. So there's no access to it. But, I think the town has to put it out to public bid, so we just kind of designed around it.
Yeah, you'd have to
You know.
petition the selectmen to put it up for auction.
Right, I think it was the politics with the new development and Rick's gonna put another bill. I'm like, okay, I'm not.
Yeah,
this one right here.
That's like kryptonite. I'm not touching that.
Nobody knew you were gonna
I'm
do
like,
it.
never mind. So,
Well, when there's something built around it, then it changes everything.
right, yeah, yeah.
All right,
So anyways.
all right, we're good.
Was,
All
all right,
Okay, we'll get you that letter
okay,
in a week or something.
all right. Well, thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you.
All right, see you later.
Good luck
Thank you.
with everybody else.
Jeff? Council there?
Oh, I don't know.
Who's that?
Oh, let's see, is that, oh, that's Steve from Town and Country.
Oh, Steve, okay. He doesn't have his hat on, that's why I can't
Is
read
he,
that.
is he gonna,
Yes,
do they wanna talk about it tonight?
yeah, I think so.
Just trying to see. Where we can, we can probably talk about it under number 5.
Yeah.
Sewer system final phase expansion cost estimates. So if you want to talk about that,
Sure,
okay.
that's fine. Can we get somebody here? So, just following up, we had an informal meeting with Town and Country, which we've talked about several meetings ago. There was some interest as we've gone back with Town and Country Park over 2 years ago when we revised a letter of understanding with Town and Country. And they asked for an informal meeting a week ago, and we met with them. I met with them. And there's some real interest in wanting to exercise their right to connect to the sewer, given what they have been dealing with on their own system. And we had a very informative meeting, in that they've done a lot of work. I got and I asked CDM to send me a plan of what was originally proposed back in 5 or 6 years ago,
Yeah,
which had a force main from the town of Country where their existing sewage treatment plant is out to Route 53. But seeing Steve's on the. Steve, do you want to introduce yourself maybe?
I think you have to unmute them.
Unmute him?
1 minute, Steve. Oh, yeah, you there?
Okay, Steve, are you able to unmute
I
yourself?
just did it.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
So we just brief introduction about what we talked about last week.
Sure. My name's Steve Delano. I'm the president of Town and Country. I have been for the last 4 years. And I've been pushing since I became president, the idea of hooking into town sewerage. The treatment plant we have now was put in 1985. We are licensed for 15,000 gallons per day. It's my understanding we don't reach that level. We're generally in the 9 to 10,000 gallons per day. And it's getting old and it's getting more expensive to run it. I just got the most recent bill. I mean, it's $5,000 a month just for the monthly service, and they had to do something a couple of weeks ago, and that came to another $11,000, and that just goes on and on and on. And we're running about $130,000 to $140,000 a year running this plant, which is the major expense on our HOA here. I know that when we first bought the park, it was brought up, and there was 2 or 3 people who kind of put the fear of God into everybody about hooking into the storage system. It was going to cost everybody $25,000 out of their pocket, and everybody just balked at it. And nothing was really explained to them about the cost and the period of time, how long it would take to pay the cost. And all the pipes are here. They're in the street. I don't know what the line is that goes to the treatment plant. It could be 4-inch, it could be 6-inch. The only way I could find out is if I go to the maintenance building and see if it's in the original plans, what size pipes are in the street. We have 3 pumping stations, one at the back end of the park, which borders Winthrop Street. We have one about a third of the way down from Summer Street. And that's the one that's pumped, and that one is pumped up to the top to where the treatment plant is. And that pumping station pumps it into the treatment plant. And the treatment plant is
Yeah,
RBC's.
pumps up. But it's here. They go up here,
Steve, do
down.
you know how old the
Up here,
plant
down.
is?
It was put in 1985.
And is that the same leaching field or has that been replaced?
We have 2 open air leaching pits.
Were they both installed in 85 as well, or is that?
One of them we rebuilt about 3 years ago, according to Weston and Sampson. The other one doesn't need to be rebuilt just yet. I keep budgeting it every year, but they say it's fine, so.
But your flow's a little bit lower than the design capacity was, so
Yes,
that's giving you
yeah.
some time. Yeah. So what, just to put this in perspective, the sketch that was done several years ago by CDM back in part of the TMDL study phase.
Right,
They estimated this force main out to a point in Route 53 to be in the area of $2 million, you know, and it's obviously would have gone up in that period of time. But, and I think for this, we need to, this is really more of a discussion going forward. But, as I mentioned at the meeting, and we're gonna talk about more later on, CDM has put together a budget for a number of all the balance of the sewer areas that weren't done by the original plan, and I have that to talk about. And after looking at this plan, I think there's a much more simple and economical way to do this and avoid the force main, which is exactly right. Coming in, that whole industrial park also should be on the sewer. It wasn't on the original because it wasn't there.
yeah,
But there's a real need to put for industrial park type uses, just like Marion Drive. That's why this other sewer coming across the railroad tracks is important. We would come straight from where the pump station was shown on the plan we talked about, go straight over to the industrial park. It might even not be a pump station, it might be gravity.
To Goodrich lumber right in front of them.
Yeah, it's all downhill. I drove in there after I went to your meeting. And it could be just a gravity line. And then have a pump station, because this is all downhill. So the pump station will be back here and let it be part of that project. So that the capital cost for doing what we talked about is that $2 million go away. And there's nothing in the street up here. You know, this whole section is left alone because there's nothing else there.
okay,
You know, there's nothing else up here. If we were to do Tower Kiln Road, we'll come down Tower Kiln Road.
yeah,
But that's also in the future. So, I mean, I think there's a lot more cost-effective way to get in, so you know what I'm talking about, instead of going like this, go right there.
Goodrich, UPS.
And this is all downhill. So you need a
Yeah,
pump
you-
station no matter what.
Construction, which is probably the
Yeah.
property that you'd have to cross to get out to that
Yeah.
section. Other than maybe, I don't know if doesn't look like there's any wetlands in this section at the moment.
And the brook brackets, brook here is it called, goes out this way.
Okay.
Yeah, Bassett Brook.
Bassett Brook, not brackets. Bassett Brook.
But that,
So-
no, I was just looking at that just before you said that. It would make total sense to
Yeah.
do that. Because you could put a gravity feed in as well as
Yeah.
the force main. And then pick up all these properties all the way down.
So you're talking about like 300 feet, 400 feet of gravity sewer with a manhole in the middle somewhere, and then go to a pump station, and then again, if we go forward with our plan, this should be something we're looking at not next year, but the year after.
okay,
And it gives the people in the industrial park more flexibility to build something out
Right.
right,
later on in line and down the line, but hook you guys right up perfectly. Without tearing up the street.
Yeah. One of the things that came up at the board meeting that with me and Steve and others was the idea of what's in the ground now. And from what we have a report that I just got from Steve. It's a property evaluation done in 2016, but it goes into detail about what's in the ground. From what I can tell, it's all PVC sewer, everything's PVC, nothing's steel or concrete or whatever, so it's up to what our design spec would be, there's nothing else. One of the questions would be looking at the pump stations and making sure that they're upgraded, because if we do entertain the idea of inheriting this, and this gets back to the question you had on the other people, want to make sure we're happy with what we're gonna inherit,
right,
and make sure we spend the money to upgrade it to whatever we want now, and then take it over. But that's a discussion we have to have, going forward.
Would it behoove us to have Dave go up and pop a couple of manhole covers? Just see what size, what condition they're in, as one, and take a picture and see what size the
You know what I can do
PVC is
is-
coming and going.
I can give,
I don't mind taking.
I would think,
Yeah.
yeah, you
Just
do
to
a
get a
visual,
general
takes a
sense.
pictures of it and
yeah,
say, well, this
look at
is a
pump
mess,
station.
so this is looking good, so.
What I'll do is I'll give you this. I made a bunch of comments, but if you wanna,
Steve, are you required to do any sort of, pipe investigation work, anything? Does the DEP require you to look at the system at any point?
No, they, we just renewed our license, I think about a year and a half ago. And Weston and Sampson does all the paperwork on that. I mean, it's too technical for one of us to try and even do it.
Sure.
So, yeah, no, and nobody's been in since they did that report back in 2016. And we're going for refinance in the next year. So we're gonna have to have another one of those engineering reports done to get a mortgage. So,
I see.
But everything that we discussed the other day was it's PVC, it's all done, current technology, current situation. The other thing that I looked at the flow rates and that went into, again, that's 10 years old now, but what I saw jumped out at me was there's no II issues. You didn't see any peaks when rain, there's no high groundwater issues. Your flow is pretty standard, it doesn't, see if what we'd be concerned about is if you had a high groundwater situation and there was a leak in that pipe underwater for the springtime, water's pouring in and you go from, like you said, 9 or 10,000 up to 15, 20,000. It's all it is groundwater, but that doesn't seem to happen based on that report. And you've made it clear the other day that there's nothing like that. So, and there's nobody with basements where they're pumping out the basements like you have down the nook.
no.
Yeah. So all those kind of typical problems don't happen here.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. They got plenty of green grass there from the downspouts.
Yeah, I mean,
They
it's
don't-
clear
they don't
that,
need to shed
it's
it off.
clear that you
Sewer system.
folks in the park do water their lawns because the water usage goes up from like 15, 20,000 up to 90,000 in the summer. So you're washing cars and doing that kind of stuff. So that's,
Oh, yeah. There's a
but
lot
again,
of lawn watering.
yeah. And it's clearly documented that it's not an II problem on our side,
Yeah,
so that's all good news.
it is good news. So I guess we need to talk about the bigger plan and how all this stuff fits together and then,
Yeah, that's on our agenda for, well, that's the item we're
Okay.
talking about. Actually.
yeah. And then, how we would want to manage private pump stations if we take over
Yeah.
complexes.
So on that theme, part of CDM's initial submittal to us just last week, and it's still to be discussed. This was not on it, Town and Country was not, so I asked them to add Town and Country,
Okay,
and it's not a big number for the design. This is just 30% design now, it's not any detail. But they're gonna come back to us, so by the next meeting, we should have this document updated with Town and Country. And I mentioned this alternative to them Friday,
okay.
so they could take a look at that. Most of what's in this cost is survey,
Oh,
okay?
okay.
The big nut is, because they don't have any survey, so we're going uphill, downhill, that's all it's about. So they'll add into that. Steve, actually, do you have an as-built drawing of your complex? You mentioned you had sewer drawings, but do you have any as-built?
I've got to go up to the maintenance building and get all the cardboard containers and pull out the plans to see what's what.
All right, it's not a rush right now, but I know CDM and us will probably by next meeting, which will be, I don't know when, this month,
Yeah,
we'll be talking seriously about getting CDM involved in how we're gonna pay to start them at the 30% design. But it's all moving forward.
Okay, I'll pull the plans out from the maintenance building in the morning and I'll take them up with me to the office tomorrow because I work in the office tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Can I ask you a question, Steve?
Sure.
I know, I was told that you have excess land up there that you could have put future development on, the old owner. But
No,
what
you
is your-
no, we don't plan on expanding.
Right,
The original owner, Bob Benet, he had plans for a few more homes, but when he got to the area where he was gonna put them, he ran into a lot of ledge and stuff. And it was just too expensive for him to bring water and electricity in and to do the blasting and stuff. So he
Okay.
decided not to do it. And
But
we're
the-
the same
but the-
way. We're happy with 212 units. We have no ambition to expand.
Okay, yeah, so the new regime, the owners themselves, they're fine, that they don't plan
Yeah,
on,
yeah, everybody in the park here is fine with the way things are.
maybe some more open space.
Open space, yeah,
Yeah,
well, it,
we could-
it borders
oh.
the 42 acres the town just bought, so.
And how many acres is that?
Somewhere between 20 and 30, I'm not quite sure. Grady would know because they've surveyed it.
You know, they got a park access from Winter Street is under construction right now. Into that property. So it'll be, you'll be able to walk from Winter Street into, your,
Is that
Oh,
enough
they
for
come,
a
they
9-hole
come
golf
through,
course,
they
huh?
come through the back end of the park all the time. People walking in from
Yeah.
Winthrop Street.
Very cool.
And every now and then, some of the homeless from behind BJ's come through too.
well, good. Well, I think we're moving in the right direction. Thanks for the offer to talk and I
Yeah.
think over the next few weeks, few meetings, I mean, I think we'll be solidifying this with CDM and getting things moving. I mean, again,
Yeah, yeah, you know, once we get an idea of overall cost to us, then I can bring it to the general meeting, you know, and see what everybody says. You know,
we need to have some discussions about how, this is a unique kind of a situation that doesn't meet the typical betterment, because all the sewers are in the ground and all these other things are there. So we need to have, you know, a more detailed discussion on that, but I would, just on the timeline, we should have CDM within the next 2 months on board, at least part of the way, I think. We still gotta go to town meeting in April, in the May town meeting to get
Yep.
the rest of the money. I think we have enough, potentially have enough available funds to do some preliminary work, to get some answers that we need to do, make these kind of decisions, not just town and country, but other places.
Yeah.
And, you know, like this other, what we just talked about earlier and the mall and all those kind of things, they're all part of this discussion.
Right.
But, all right, good.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks.
thank you.
You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but.
Thanks.
Oh, that's good. So you want to continue on that theme?
Yeah, just, so I did, this is the one I commented and had them updated, but just so you know, so this is basically design work to get us to a 30% design stage.
Okay.
Much of it's like I said, topographic survey to know what we're doing, where the houses are and where the lots are and all the background, basic information. And this will take us, so the update will include town and country, but this is up Indian Pond Road, up Elm Street, I mean. And then up Indian Pond Road, you know how it veers off? Indian Pond Road has the houses on it. If you go straight up Elm Street, there's nothing there except for Sylvia Pond. There's one house there.
Yeah.
Then Sylvia Place Road comes back in where the Maribet Farm is. Then it goes back up and there's more houses. So the line would come up from, basically from Brook Street and go up Indian Pond, Elm Street to Indian Pond Road to Sylvia Place Road, come back up and meet South Street coming in the other area. And then from our pump station on 106, loop all around the South Street wells and the Millgate Street wells. That's the whole reason we're doing it. And then it would include Pottle Street and Copper Beach Drive. So like we just said, I don't think this is a lot more. The survey is really nothing, but if you go to this other route,
Yeah.
it's just from the pump station over here. It's, you know, it's like 2 setups and a survey crew. It's like, it's downhill or it's not. So, so this number comes out to be just, again, this is not a rough, this is a real number. To get pretty much everything we have left to do is about $250,000, of which close to 120,000 survey. So it's like half.
And that's to get us to 30%.
Excuse me, yeah, that gets us to a 30% design, so after that, it's easy. You know, because we're not doing sewer treatment plants, it's just 2 or 3 pump stations
Yeah.
and gravity sewer.
And
So-
this will help secure the wells in the area.
The whole idea is
The
to
wells
secure
those-
all the wells. 50% of our drinking water today comes from those wells.
Okay,
And the nitrogen content that was in there 20 years ago, which was close to 0, is now at 3, 3.5 and rising.
okay,
And if you go to treatment of a well like that or abandon it, it's a lot of water, first of all. So there's a real environmental reason. I mean, I wish I had the plan.
and again, to be proactive.
Yeah, I mean, that was always the reason for that pump station on 106,
Okay,
but it's surrounding. Yeah, so here's the offset. So that's over here. So there's 3 wells right there, half of our water. And that's why it goes all the way around like this. So there's a pump station on the Jones River. Goes in Millgate, South Street, Elm Street, and that little piece of Indian Pond. They come down here and they'll tie back in.
That loop
Yeah.
that you're talking about surrounding the wells, do you have an idea of how many homes that would?
I did a quick count. You have you have Conifer Green,
Pound of greens.
which is
Oh,
another
okay.
100-something houses,
okay,
Oh, that many in there?
yeah,
Wow.
something like that. And then there's my number is around 250 homes and lots around that loop. All on septic systems, all right there. And I mean, you just have to look at the numbers from the water, water reports that come out. You can see it.
yeah,
You get the Knights of Columbus, right there.
yeah,
It's like literally almost on the wells.
yeah.
Now, that's not used all the time, but you have a septic system right there.
Well, and in the fact that that's a big piece of property, if
Yeah.
anything ever changes in the future, that it gets sold for something.
And so the other parts of this are very small. You got Pottle Street, which needs, it's all clay and gravel. It should have been sewer before. There was a
Right.
whole bunch of reasons why that didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Who approached you for Pottle Street? Was that something that's just?
It's always was on there. And then I know the
Cause the only thing
Realtor-
down there is one house, one residential house.
realtor there,
And then club.
and then the club. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
Hilltop and all that stuff.
Well, there's literally just those two.
Well, I've had people from Hilltop contact.
You have.
Yeah, they've asked, and then you get into the idea here is get back into the playing fields. Cause they're using just porta potties and stuff, right?
I'm sure I think they have a septic system on
Yeah,
it.
when I was back there, but
It's
they,
such a big property,
Yeah,
so far,
but-
they could be 300 feet away from the wetlands.
Yeah.
Where there's septic systems.
that's all ledge, very shallow ledge and clay back in there. So, I don't know how they got a septic system and tell you the truth. Groundwater is like right there,
Yeah,
everywhere. So, I mean, it was,
I may be wrong. I thought that the main building was.
but it's all of this from, I think our point of view is, this is not the sewer commission pushing this. This is the environmental community, the public health issues that are directly related to it. And the water supply. So it's gonna be a team effort to get this thing done. And I've tried to warn everybody that's involved. We're all in this together.
Well, hopefully the whole water moratorium and what happens when you don't have enough water has helped to people understand the need to protect what we already have. And septic systems around wells at this point in time isn't
No.
Safe.
Plus, yeah.
safe.
It's only gonna get worse.
Right. And especially when the state really does start paying attention to this area with nitrogen.
It's a huge problem.
It is.
I didn't send this to anyone because as soon as I saw it and marked it up, I went back to CDM and said, update it. So
Okay.
that's why I didn't send it to you all. But as soon as I get the new update, I mean, it's 250 now. I bet you it's less than 300 with town and country.
Yeah.
It's not a lot more. But that's the ballpark number. And
Okay.
if you extrapolate that to what's gonna cost to build it, 10% engineering. It's probably, when this is all done, it's probably gonna be close to 600,000. So it's probably a $6 million project. And one of the reasons to expedite this is to get on the SRF list as fast as we can
Yeah.
and have a number. And that's what I've tried to drive CDM to understand. They do understand it, but just we've already missed the eligibility for this year, but if we get a number, soon, we'll be able to get on the list and then work that.
That's those are the summer deadlines, right? I think it's August or something.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to, next August is,
Yeah.
so it's, that's why we have to get this approved.
Yeah,
And if we can start them doing some of the work. That would be helpful.
so you think 100% design would be about 600?
That's my guess.
Yeah,
Just because of it's not a sewage treatment plant type thing.
Right.
It gets more complicated. It's more, once you have the flow line, there it is, there's not,
Yeah,
and a pump station's a pump station. It's, as long as it's what we want. And so far, we've been working with CDM all along and everybody's happy with that,
yeah,
so. And it gives us an opportunity this is for Dave, it's just, some of these older, actually, the younger pump stations, get some upgrades maybe in this round too,
okay,
but it's all good. Good stuff.
it is. No, thank you.
Looking at, on that same note, capacity wise, I think we're looking at something like 800 and some odd ERUs available, 865-ish. And,
Before any of these projects.
yeah,
Okay.
and, Copper Beach, 144 units.
That's, I figured out by ballpark 80.
Yeah, I get 79.
Yeah,
79. Town and country, they're all 1 and 2 bedroom,
so if it's the 212,
yes.
let's say 300 just to make it any 3 bedrooms. So that's,
You can have that for it.
What
Big
what
one,
what
yeah.
unit price are we using on? Well, we're not calculating betterment fees, we're just calculating.
yeah,
Just more the above.
capacity. So town and country, 300 units, 300 at 110. But bedrooms is 33,000. That's, 30, yeah, it's gonna be. They're 100 ERUs.
And then in your range that you looked at Elm and South of that loop.
It's about 200, something like that.
200.
So that gets us the same kind of a number.
homes and 200 ERUs. So that eats up not quite half.
Yeah.
So there's still plenty of capacity
Well, then
for
you got the mall,
other development to
that
continue in time.
800 already includes what the mall already owns, right? So they've already bought,
Yes,
Yeah,
their
so-
capacity's already been calculated.
so whatever is gonna go where Macy's is, that number is in the 35. What I have in my head. It's about 30,000 gallons of water use.
Okay.
So it's another 100, roughly 100 unit,
Yeah, so
okay? That would be excess. Then you got whatever else is going up there, but there are other parts, Follow Street, Copper Beach, those others are like 10 houses, 15 houses,
Yeah.
they're not a lot.
Right,
So these big numbers are what we really want to zero in on.
with capacity still that it won't restrict other people along the 3A corridor if they want to do something. There's still room at the end for other
Yeah.
developments.
Yeah, that would be my intent, to always leave a little cushion
Sure.
for the people, for everything that's already been on for 25, 30 years.
Right,
Those
right.
people aren't getting cheated out of one more bedroom on a house or something like that. We've given them some leeway already in phase 1 and phase 2.
Yeah, and then, taking all that into consideration, it still allows for septage,
Yes.
to take in septage, so.
I have another subject I would like to discuss at some point in time.
So that's it in my update.
Some people don't need the flow. They've been over with this. They only got X. And they got, like, what's that, the Hillside Club?
Yeah,
The owner there wanted to sell something back because he wasn't gonna do anything because it's a man cave, but he owns those, which is okay. Because if someone else comes in after him, they have the capacity to work with it. But who was it here with the laundromat? The laundromat goes out of business in 5 years.
right,
And those all, he's got, what did we say? He needed like
It was quite a bit.
like
Yeah.
20 units or something.
Yeah,
And if it goes back to a regular building, then what I'm getting at is that I would like to be able to buy that back to give it out to somebody else.
I think that's a good point.
And, you know, within reason.
Yeah. it's not-
Some people just, I don't want this flow. I,
Rated according
yeah, and for, yeah,
somehow, yeah.
yeah, but, you know, yes, so that when we sell it, we, you know, the treatment plant is being compensated.
As long as it's
But
clear
anyway,
that. when it's
something to
given
talk
back-
about maybe, I don't know. just-
yeah, because we do have, our rules and regulations do have a buyback for vacant lots.
Right,
But there's no reason why we can't,
try to modify it,
yeah, put something in for buildable lots.
yeah.
And it
Or,
just,
or
has-
someone that's like, you know, my neighbor, he has 5 betterments on the unit next door, he has 8 bedrooms in there. But in the future, if he decides he wants to build a couple more units, he has the capacity to do it.
yeah,
But he may decide he doesn't want to, when that, then if they do sell it back, then if they decide, then they sell it to somebody else, and they have to come back to today's rate.
and that's it, that would be, we get into the deed restrictions, just so everybody would know,
Right.
you know, this is restricted for X and,
But I know we have marked down in our ledger that this is our capacity, this is what we got. But 10% of that's not even gonna be
Yeah,
utilized.
no, that's a good
You
point.
could throw it back into the kitty and go a little.
Particularly when we get down towards the end of this. I was just thinking, I'm thinking the other way. It's like a liquor license in Boston, you know, you pay $500 for it, but try to buy it for $500.
No, you're right, yeah.
well, and that's why we actually put the vacant lots in rules and regulations. So individuals wouldn't be selling, everything had to come through us.
Yeah, that's exactly what it
And,
should be.
no,
Yeah, that I wanted to
Yeah.
say, yeah.
But this
Well, I'm
job-
not talking to my neighbors, for what you paid for it, I'll give you that. You know,
What Bill's saying, it gets us to the same place where we don't have that going on. I can see it happening.
oh, yeah.
I can see it happening.
It was happening.
Yeah.
And we had to stop the conversations. So,
Just, that's a good, you kind of brought this up before, Bill. I remember I think it's a good thing to not forget, let's put it that way.
For like the Legion Hall,
yeah,
there's nothing they can do. They cannot add on to that property unless they buy more property. And, you know, it would have been nice to give them the $3,000 they wanted. And then we could have sold it for $90,000 or whatever, you know.
We should put on the agenda for next meeting, though, talking about the betterments for, not in a final way, but just to kind of get a betterment discussion amongst ourselves on
yeah,
town and country, just kind of flesh out the issues. And then this 40B, it's got a similar thing. One,
That's why I was trying to remember back that when he first started talking with us, did he lock himself into the old rate?
we'd have to look at the meeting.
Yeah, I know. But I know town and country, we could give
I
them,
think we
we could
did.
give them the old rates because they've been on board, you know, in the waiting for this. And I don't know if that's the way we're gonna do this or.
that's why we need to talk about it, because
Yeah.
they did come in before we changed the rules,
Okay,
you know, and we did have that discussion, and they were in this process. And I think it's just a matter of, we gotta figure out what we can do. I mean, we can't give away, we can't end up with owning money at the end of the day.
right.
Right,
We have to
no.
cover the debt.
So,
And I saw a listing for town and country the other day and they're in the 360 range
Yeah.
right now. For 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom house, so, you know, like a lot.
what I heard from that, because that came up at Saturday, it's way too overpriced.
But somebody will buy it.
You could have got it, I could have got it for $65,000 first came to town.
Apparently
I
that
wonder
was, the 300 is a right number, not 360. That's what they were saying.
Oh, okay.
There's another one, there's on the pond. Apparently that's a real good deal. There's a really nice pond there. I didn't know that. I forgot it was there.
Okay,
All right.
we have a broken pipe on Body Standish. Which is this, does everybody have that one? In your package?
Are they looking for?
Looking for an adjustment, yeah.
Oh,
And,
here it is. An email. From Tanya White.
yeah. And do you know who did the numbers, Dave?
I don't, I imagine
Probably Jeannie.
that was probably Jeannie or a combination of Jeannie and Stacy possibly.
So they've done the numbers, the average is 6,000 gallons, and they were charged 50,000 gallons. And being a leak in the crawl space underneath the house, it didn't even get to us, so. I'm fine with making a motion to adjust the quarterly bill to the average of $6,000 gallons, $84.18, abating $743.50.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Uh, If you want to go right ahead, Dave, it looks like the rest is probably good.
Okay. So I know we've touched on this 22 Main Street a couple times. I'm just gonna pass you a fresh copy in case you don't have one available. This one for you. And so from what I understand, the building department and health department handed their correction notices out last week. So I've had this prepared for a little while. I was waiting for them to, get their correction orders together, and the plan was that we'd all kind of distribute them at the same time, but I guess they called, the gentleman in at one point handed the correction notice to him in hand. And I wasn't around at the time, so I'm looking to see if we can get this sent out ASAP. And I just want to kind of give it one fresh look. I don't know if you guys had any new additional input to put in there. But when I did the correction notice, I didn't specifically call out what I'd like for a solution. Okay. Other than getting it back to its original state. But, not knowing what was done underground, because I can't obviously see, some of the work that had been done to this line. I already know, that they tapped the roof leader into the sewer line and broke into it to do so. They've added additional connections that weren't authorized as part of their original sewer system. So what I'm looking to do is have that sewer line excavated from the curb line when stub was provided to him all the way up to the end of his sewer line, and confirm that there's no additional offshoots, roof leaders tied in, sump pumps, things like that. So,
Laterals, yeah.
other than what's originally on here, I would just like to add some verbiage to at least have that exposed from beginning to end. Just kind of the commission's blessing on that issue.
I mean, I think that's exactly what we should do.
Yeah.
And just that,
And, in our bylaws and in some of the state laws that back up our bylaws, it does refer to $5,000 fines per day on some of these violations. So it's a serious issue, and, we know there's been roof leaders tied in.
Mhm.
For how long, I can't say, but, it could have gone back.
They're still tied in right now as we speak,
Yeah.
because no one's told you they corrected that.
Nothing's been corrected yet. So, it could have gone back as far as 2016 or earlier.
Right.
So,
Why don't we take a vote to support?
just
Yeah, go ahead.
before that, I think finding out that point you made 2016, doing the reconnaissance and maybe making sure that's in here. And that was one thing that I didn't remember from last time in my notes. It's just,
we can't specifically know when.
no, I'm just saying,
He
put some, just some languages. We would want you to tell us. You may not know it, but just something to get you some information of when did this start? And at least it starts a discussion that the schedule of this is important for the fines piece of it, but it wasn't on here. That was the last time we talked about that, wasn't it?
Not a note is-
Just something that gives you, and what we talked about was looking at the water use going back in time. So the way I looked at it is if the water use legitimately was 1,000 gallons water, let's
Yeah.
say, and all of a sudden it went up to 1,500, that starts your clock. So whatever that date was, whatever quarter that was, 2016, you know that in 2016, the house that was getting 1,000, all of a sudden it went up because there's 5 new apartments back there.
Yeah,
So somehow giving you and legally us the position that if we want to find it, and our attorneys will do this, we're gonna fine you $5,000 a day, whatever the fine is, and we'll negotiate with the enders,
yeah,
much like DEP would. But it's giving you and us putting him on notice, first of all.
yeah,
that he-
And some of that information may have been exposed through conversations and emails back and forth with health department,
Yeah.
building department. So some of that data might.
Just making
already
it a statement. When did this start? It's a question. We don't know.
been- Yeah,
At least it's out there as we're asking that.
right.
So. You make that motion. I'm sorry.
No, I should say we should make a motion to support Dave's order to correct violations. And I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
we'll get that out by the end of the week.
I did hear from the board. There's something you might, if you
There
don't.
is one other
Joyce
thing about that
mentioned
property. There's a
Heritage
condo
Rosemary
for
told me
sale.
this with their meeting yesterday. They actually found that they
There's a for sale sign. So it's gonna
actually
go-
put in a 55-gallon drum.
That's what I
You
heard.
heard that? Yeah,
I
okay.
didn't notice that.
It's worse. This is another,
Yes, yes.
there's a 55-gallon drum from another apartment toilet that Dave never saw before.
Never
They
went
found-
into our sewer system. It went into some sort of
Drum.
modified
A cesspool, basically.
septic system.
That's all new from what Dave found the last time when he was out there. So,
David, are you aware that there's a condo on that property for sale right now?
Yes.
Is there any reason that we shouldn't talk to town council, maybe or the building department and have them put a covenant on it or, something that says, you can't sell it until this is resolved? I don't know if that's a proper way to do that. But if they sell and it's been run, then someone else is picking up bag.
Yeah, and is that the condo association, is the owner of the property different than the owner of the condo? And, I don't know.
I
how
don't
that's
know,
all
yeah, I don't
lined
know,
up.
yeah.
I
But
can,
just take a note of that
I
and see if
could-
there's
yeah.
anything, talk to the building department and see
Yeah,
what
no,
they,
that's a
what
good
they think
point.
about it.
That's
You
a
may
good
wanna put a
point.
freeze on the house.
Yeah,
I'll call to the Realtor and say, hey,
There's a lot of issues that you need to know, full disclosure,
yeah,
before you sell it.
interesting. Yeah. I'll have some conversation with some other departments.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
let's see what they
See if
think.
there's any legs we can get.
I mean, other departments have had a lot more enforcement to what is going on over the past years. So.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It might help them out too in terms of their
Yeah.
issues that they're trying to address.
And I feel sorry for the person that buys it if that's the case and they don't know what they get.
Crazy. Okay, so that's squared away with that. There's so many things that have happened in the last couple of weeks. I always try and give you a couple examples of some of the chaos that is on our daily schedule at the plant. Recently, we've had quite a bit of problems with the Marion Drive pump station. It's 4 years old. We've had the 2 original pumps had to go out at some point over that 4-year period for a seal fail. So those went out, got rebuilt. While those were all getting rebuilt, we brought in a spare, so we'd always be able to keep the station running. So there's 3 pumps in rotation over there. Now on vacation, one of them that had been rebuilt had another seal fail alarm go. When I came back from vacation, the week after, another seal fail alarm went. So we basically had the 2 pumps in the wet well running on seal fail alarms. So at any point, if that seal failed completely and the water got in the motor, they both dry up. So last Friday, we brought in a spare standby pump. I don't know if you're familiar with these dry prime pumps, but they're on a trailer.
Oh, okay.
Hold it in, set the suction hose into the wet well, and it has its own transducer in it. So if any time during the night those two pumps fail, this pump would automatically turn itself on, start itself up, pump the station down, and then shut itself off, wait for it to fill up again, turn itself on. So this thing would maintain the pump station. So you brought that in just as a standby, that if anything catastrophic failed, you'd have at least a pump running the pump station and not have wastewater go to the ocean. So anyway, long and short is we got a pump back. Replaced that into the pump station. Took the existing pump that had fried, brought that out to Connecticut, had it fixed the same day, brought it back the same day. We've got Marion Drive running on two fully functional pumps and we're back in service.
Good. Anything else critical we should talk about tonight?
That's about it. Everything else to wait till our next meeting. I see that we're backed up
Yeah.
to another.
And I can't make it the 21st. That would be our next meeting. So I don't know if you want to go to the 28th.
28th, I was gonna bring up that's. Let's second. That's the next,
Oh, that's town meeting.
it's town meeting, yeah, so. We have to meet anyways.
Oh, I can make the 21st. I can. Okay, we'll just, next meeting, 10:21.
Okay,
I just have to go to my,
Do you want to meet a little later?
um, I have to go to Marshall's town meeting that night.
Oh, I can check. So you want to meet earlier?
If, I'll see what, yeah, if we can.
Can you get here like 3:30?
on that day,
10:28.
21st, yeah,
That's 10:21. 10:20, 3:30. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
second,
All in favor?
Uh,
Okay.
10:21, sorry,
At
it's 3:30.